Welcome to the Lululoves Crochet Podcast, episode 3. My name is Emma and I am a crochet blogger. I have a website, lululoves.co.uk, designer, maker, bit of everything really. And I will be talking to you today about some of the items I finished, some works in progress, and some other bits and bobs. So thank you for being here with me. That was a bit awkward, wasn't it? I'm terrible at introductions. Also, my dog is here and I've just had to take his squeaky toy away from him, so I apologise if you hear some strange noises. I think probably best, as always, just to get straight into the crochet. So the first finished item I've got to show you are I'm just looking at my notes down here because I've tried to be organised today, are the Sitka Spruce Mittens. And this was the pattern that I spoke about in the last podcast by Kat Golding, the Accessories Project book. So here they are. Mine are sort of slanting slightly. Look at that amazing stitch pattern. Isn't that lovely? And then all along the edges are these lovely puff stitches. So that's my first item. I can just see Teddy is going to misbehave throughout this. I'll try them on for you because I think you'll see them better. I absolutely loved this pattern. The only thing I would say is I measured my hands and followed the, look at that, isn't that lovely? Just so unusual. I followed the instructions and I went for the small size, and I used the, I think it was a 4-ply yarn. It was the Scrumptious. They're coming up a little bit short. I probably could have added some extra rows. I think it was the yarn I was using and probably my tension. So I think I will make another pair of these. And actually, the ones that Sam had made from Betsy Make seemed a lot chunkier, and I think it's because she doubled up on the yarn. So I might try that next time. Although these are lovely, and I definitely will wear them. But I think I'd just like them just to be a little bit longer. That's just personal preference though, really, isn't it? But I'm in love with them. It's such an unusual design, and the pattern was so simple. It looks so complicated, but they were really simple to make, and they worked up really quickly. Yeah, no trouble with them at all, and I absolutely love them. And I love the yarn as well, but I think they're just a little bit gapping. Again, that's my tension, I think. So I think I will definitely use this pattern again, and maybe I'll just work them up in some DK yarn and see how I get on with that. But I love those. So that's my first finished item, and I think I said the pattern was by Kat Golding, the Accessories Project book. I will definitely be making up some more of their patterns because their designs are just stunning, really stunning, and full of texture, and I love that in crochet. So that's the first finished item. Really pleased with those. I'll pop those down there. What else have I got to show you? It's mostly been about bobbles this week, I won't lie. I spent most of last week writing up patterns, and I managed to get the bobble pattern up on the blog. I changed it slightly. I didn't put up a pattern for the cushion just because I didn't end up finishing the cushions that I was making. I ran out of yarn, and when I went to reorder the colour that I'd been using, it was sold out. So I was a bit sad about that, but well, I will show you what I was doing. I was working the bobbles up with this super chunky yarn. So this is the cushion cover. You see those massive bobbles. I love this yarn. This is a Lion brand yarn, I think. I'll have to put the details below. It's a super chunky and it's in a marble. I love the colours. I love everything about that. This front took, I think, about a ball and a half of the super chunky. It was 100 grams. I was pretty certain that I wasn't going to have enough to create a back for it and edge it. So I started playing around with the idea of a cowl, and I thought that a cowl might be easier because you were crocheting in the round. You will get a good idea of the stitch pattern, just the repeat, and then you can take that and do what you will with it. But so I used the super chunky again and thought, okay, well, this will work well as a cowl. But again, this was how much I got from 2 100-gram balls of Lion brand. Okay, that's, you can see I've not even quite finished that third row of bobbles. They're worked up over 2 rows. But, oh, I just loved it. So I went down a yarn size and I started playing with chunky. And I ordered 2 types, reasonable yarn. I ordered Style Croft. It was this one here. Can you see that? Style Croft. Is that backwards? Not sure. Style Croft Weekender, super chunky. Ted. Shh. Be a good boy. I'm sorry. He's just told me off. And the other one I ordered was this one. It's Hayfield Bonus Chunky. Now, the Starcraft says it's a super chunky, but it was in the chunky weight section, and it says recommended hook is an 8mm, and the Hayfield recommended hook I think was a 6 or a 6.5. But actually both the yarns felt very similar in weight, so I put them both together and they were working out very similar. I used a 6.5 crochet hook, can you see that, to make this lovely multicoloured bobble cowl. I'm not going to put it on for you because I'll mess my hair up, but it's lovely. It really is. Oh, look. I love it. I love the effect. I love these really big bobbles. And to give you an example of the difference in size between the super chunky and the chunky. So this is the cowl worked with chunky yarn, and if I can just get this to a place where you can see it. These are the bobbles in the super chunky. That's not very good, is it? Let me try and hold it like this. Can you see the difference? It's significant. I mean, these are still really big, but I mean, these are. We're talking king of bobbles. Anyway, I was really pleased with the way it worked up as a cowl. I still think you get that lovely effect. They're very big. The texture is lovely. So I worked 2 of those up. And this is the one I used, which is the Hayfield. It's a tweed. I don't know if you can see all the different speckles in it. I love tweed yarn. I would work with that all the time. This one, I think they're both acrylic. This one feels a bit more structured. It's giving a bit of a more structured cowl, whereas the Stylecraft was a little bit more slouchy, so it might be a bit nicer to wear as a cowl. It depends. You could make these as long as you wanted, really. Or you could just keep working up, I suppose, and make yourself a cushion with something like that, and then you wouldn't have to worry about backing it. So I made those. The pattern for the cowl is on my blog. I'll leave all the details for that below if you fancy having a go at those. They are beautiful. Very happy with those. So that was the next finished item. And then I had some yarn left over and I came across a picture on Pinterest of some beautiful crocheted pumpkins. And I felt the need to crochet them. I can't tell you why, but the picture was from, I've got the notes here, let me just have a look. It was the Rustic Lace Pumpkin pattern by Megan Shanes. She has a lovely website called Meg Made with Love. Just discovered it this week and there's some beautiful free crochet patterns on there. So that's worth having a look at if you fancy trying something new. But, oh, look at this. This is my Rustic pumpkin. Very simple pattern. It's a free pattern as well. And she included the pattern for this rustic doily. I had to slightly adapt mine because the doily pattern was worked up with a 1.5mm crochet hook, and I won't crochet with that. I refuse to. So I worked mine up in a 2.5mm, and obviously my doily was coming out a lot bigger than the actual pumpkin. So I just, I think I missed off, there was another row like this. I missed off a couple of rows and just sort of adapted it so that these little picot, so that they just sort of draped over the pumpkin. But isn't that lovely? She had made them up in some really beautiful rustic colours as well, but I had some leftover yarn from the cowls, so I thought I would just have a go at those. And again, a lovely pattern to follow. The pumpkin itself is very easy. You've probably seen this type of pumpkin all over the place. Once you finish crocheting the pumpkin, you just make these sort of segments by winding yarn up and through and just pulling it tight. So I really love that. It's a little bit bigger than maybe I'd have liked, but it's still beautiful. Almost could be a pumpkin cushion, it's so big. So I love that. And to go with it, I then, all the light's so funny today, I then made up another little one just to sit with it in the leftovers of the hayfield. I did not add a doily to this one. I didn't really feel the need to do that. So there's another little pumpkin. He could almost be a pin cushion or something, although it's still quite big, but you can tell I was running low on yarn, and I'll show you this. It's a little bit of a behind the scenes for you. I did run out of yarn. So I just used some more of the pink on the bottom, but no one's going to know, are they, apart from you guys? So the things we do, hey? So now I have two very beautiful pumpkins for display, I think. I don't really know what else I could do with those, but I did enjoy making them. So that was good fun. What else have I been making? I think those are probably the only things I've finished, really, over the past couple of weeks. I have, what else have I got to show you? Oh, my jumper. I've been working on the jumper that I was designing, and I had worked it up with I think it was the Karen yarn. I'd worked it up with 3 colours, and I changed my mind about the colour, and I decided I wanted black, cream, pink and black. And the black yarn that I was using, although it was the same weight, it wasn't the same, and I don't know if it was that I wasn't happy with, or the pattern. I wasn't happy with the little bit of ribbing at the bottom. I just was making it, and I thought I won't wear this, and I don't understand why I won't wear this, because when I swatched it on the acrylic Aran, I think it was 20% acrylic, 20% wool Aran, I loved it. So I couldn't understand. So I started again. I went right back to the original swatch, and I used the same yarn. I had one of those 400 gram, I'm all caught up, sorry, 400 gram balls. So, it's big. It's going to be a boxy jumper, but if I hold it up, you might be able to get an idea of the pattern. So obviously I've got some bobbles in there and some filet crochet with the diamonds. I had 3 rows of bobbles in the original swatch, and I've changed that to 2 because I wasn't very happy with the way they were sitting, and because it creates a denser fabric, it was making the jumper quite heavy at the bottom, so I've changed that. But I'm still working my way up, and then I've just gone up to where I need to do some decreases, and I've finished off the yarn because I want the decreases to run the same way. So I'll start there, stop, and then I'll reattach my yarn here and crochet like that, so that I'm not having to turn it. You always get slightly, I'm a bit of a perfectionist like that. So anyway, the first side's done. I've just started on the second side. So when I finish that, I will put them together, look at how many decreases I need up here. I don't really want much of a neck. I was almost tempted just to leave it and make it one of those jumpers that just goes straight across, but I think it's probably not very practical for winter. So I'll work some decreases and then look at adding some sleeves. So I really love it. And now I'm in love with it all over again, and I just want to make it. So I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on what I wasn't happy with. When I finished it, I will try it again with the Karen yarn because it's beautiful yarn, so I can't quite work it out. Anyway, that's still on my mind, as you can tell. But I am excited to finish it, and I'm excited to wear it, and that's always a good sign, I think. I only really like to design things that I would wear myself, and I think it's quite difficult when you're a designer because you get asked to make all sorts of things, and sometimes they're quite specific about what they want. And you know, in the past I've made things and I've thought, well, I like it, but I wouldn't necessarily wear it. So yes, it's nice to be designing things that I want to wear, because I'm selfish like that. Oh, and what else have I got to talk to you about? Oh, the other thing was I did start, I might need some feedback on this. I started working with my swirl cake. This is the sheepsies. I never say it right. Lovely colours there. I had an email from, or a Ravelry message, I think, from a lovely lady called Judy, who recommended some projects that were good with the cakes. One of them was the Liula from Potter and Bloom, and the other one was the Breeze Block. I've written it down, sorry, by, I think, Joanna Lindahl. And I had a look at that, and I really liked that one as well, but I felt like I wanted to do something a bit more detailed. So I did find a pattern, and it's called the Lost in Time shawl. You may all have heard of this. I think it's been quite popular on Instagram. So I started from the outside of my cake because I wanted I'm unwinding it, the black to be the first colour. It's going to be really hard to show you because it's going to really blur me out. I'm sorry. Can you see these lovely rows of back post bobbles? You're not going to be able to really see that. So I've made a start with that. Now the thing is, I'm not sure about it. I love the pattern. It's a gorgeous pattern. Maybe it's because I'm working with black and I'm finding it hard to see the stitches, because I mostly do this type of crochet in the evening, and I've been finding it really hard work to locate the stitches and follow the pattern. Not because it's badly written or anything like that. It's a lovely pattern, and there's lots of photographs as well, which I find really useful. I'm just getting to a section of it now where you can just see the grey coming in, so I think I might just keep going with it until the swirl lightens up and see what I think. I don't know, let me know, what would you do? Should I carry on, or should I, because what I'm thinking is, it's one of those patterns, a bit like, I suppose a bit like the Hotel of Bees, although that was a little bit more repetitive once you got into sections. I have to focus on every single row, or I've had to so far. Now, I haven't reached a point where I'm doing any repeats, so that's probably just the way it is when you start a pattern. I have to focus really hard on every row. So I'm not finding it very relaxing, I think is what I'm trying to say. And when I'm sat in the evening crocheting, that's really what I want to do. But just looking at this on the camera, it's so beautiful. So I'm torn between carrying on, and if I carry on, I can see that it'll probably take me quite a while to finish it, or starting again, unwinding it and starting again with something a bit more repetitive, like that Liula or the breeze block shawl. So I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. What would you do if you were me? Because I can't wait to sort of get to these colours, but I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. I think I would really love to make this pattern in a thicker yarn. As I'm making it, that's how I'm feeling. And I'm working with a 3.5 hook for that. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. I mean, look at that. It's stunning. It really is. It's quite slow growing, and obviously when you've got these back post stitches, your work doesn't grow up as quickly, but the effect is beautiful. If you could make the whole shawl in black, that still would be beautiful. So let me know what you think I should do about that. That was probably about 2 hours crochet time there, and it doesn't feel like I've got much to show for it, but it could be because I've been working with chunkier yarn recently, so it might just be some adjustment issues. And I think that is all the projects I have. Let me just have a quick look at my list. Yes, that is. Now, I haven't bought any new yarn. I say this every time and then I go, oh, apart from. And I did. I wasn't going to buy any new yarn because I've bought yarn for the projects I've been working on, and I've been very good. I've been using up my leftovers, so I feel good. But I did. I went and had coffee with a friend the other day, and she crochets as well. So she's just the perfect person to go out with, because every time we come across a little yarn shop, we go and have a little mosey around. We went into a little yarn shop, and they had these. They are from West Yorkshire Spinners. It's called the Croft Shetland Tweed. It's 100% Shetland Island wool. Look at that. Have you ever seen yarn as pretty as that? And in the shop, they probably had about 5 or 6 of the colours of this, and I'd seen them online, and I thought to myself, oh, I want to get some of that because I just love it. So let me just try and show you close up. Can you? Oh, look at that! Look at that! I love it. I couldn't decide what colour to get between 3. I was stuck between 3, so I bought all 3, as you do. There's the second one, and then the third one. I'll show you them individually. These are, I think 100 gram skeins. Yeah, 100 grams. It's Aran weight. You get 166 meters. So this is the blue colour. God, my heart just stops every time. This shade is called, I don't know, what's that called? It's called Bottom 756, can you see that? I'll put all the details below. And then this one, I love this one as well. This is more of a natural, more of a muted colour. I'm definitely feeling the more muted colours at the moment. I go between wanting to work with super brights and then it's like I've had enough. I go right back to the neutrals. So this is right up my street at the moment. And this colour is called Cloudster. No, not Cloudster. I made that up. Cloudster. Love that one. And then this colour is Haler. I think these are the colours. I might be totally... But look at that. I think this might be my favourite. And in the shop they had a cardigan and it had been knitted with not one of the colours I bought, actually a different colour, and it looked so special. I mean, I would wear that cardigan every day of the week. So I haven't got enough to make a cardigan. I'm thinking I will maybe use this wool because it's a little bit more pricey than I would usually like to pay for 100 grams, but maybe as an accent colour mixed with some other Aran yarn. Excuse me, dog scratching. I hope you can't hear all this snuffling going on beside me. Teddy. Yes, I'm going to find something lovely for those. I just can't wait to use them. I've been very patient because I wanted to show you them all wrapped up in their skeins before I wound them. But I will look forward to making something with those. So that was a bit of a luxury, but I couldn't walk out the shop without them. I just couldn't. It just wasn't going to happen. So, and that is it for new stuff. Although, and this sort of ties into, I suppose, works in progress. I did get sent by my lovely Instagram friend a copy of her new book. This is by Tanya of Little Things Blogged. She's got a beautiful blog, a lovely Instagram account, and she is doing a blog tour to advertise her new book. She'd asked if I'd like to have a look, and obviously I said yes. Inside are some beautiful patterns. So I'm going to make something. This is next on my list. I'm going to make something from the book, and I will put it up on the blog. I think the date, my date is the 29th of October, but there are some lovely crocheters, designers taking part. So have a look at Tanya's blog if you get the chance. It's I think it's just Little Things Blogged. I'll leave the details there for you. So look, it's a lovely drawstring pouch. I love that. There's just some beautiful blankets in here. I mean, it's really good value. And normally you sort of might get 1 or 2 blankets if you're lucky in a pattern book. But this one's got, I think, maybe 3 or 4. This is my favourite project. Obviously. Beautiful bobble cushion there. Sort of want to make it, sort of think I don't need any more cushions. Don't be wasteful. Although maybe I could make one as a present for Christmas. That might be a nice idea. And let me show you one of the blankets. There's a lovely corner to corner one actually right at the beginning. And I was thinking about it the other day, and corner to corner crochet is quite fashionable at the moment. I've never ever done any corner to corner crochet. So that's the blanket there, look at that. And I love the colours. It's very fresh, very modern, but there are some vintagey patterns in here as well. There's a vintage cushion cover there, look. So that's next on my list. I will be making something from Tanya's book, and I will be popping that on the blog. So, and I'll probably share what I make next time I podcast as well, so you'll get to see that. Or maybe I should even use some of my new yarn. So I think, as for crochet, that's all I've got to tell you about, really. I've had some positive feedback on the Light Between Oceans courtship shawl. My friend Jo is testing it at the moment, and her shawl is looking lovely. So I'm hoping it won't be long before I can release that. And what have I been reading recently? I got given this book actually by my friend. We do book swaps. It's called Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I loved this. I read this in 4 days straight. I could not put it down. It's about a girl called Eleanor, obviously, Eleanor Oliphant, and she lives she's got a very structured routine life. She's worked in the same place, I think, for about 10 years. She gets up every day, she goes and does her job, she comes home. She doesn't talk to anyone except for when she has to. She doesn't think much of people in general. I get the impression that she's just not bothered. She is a survivor. She's obviously had something happen to her face. One side of her face is quite badly scarred. You don't really get to find out what sort of happened until the second half of the book. And there are a couple of instances that change her life. So the book's split into 2 sections, good days and bad days. And the good days are, a couple of unexpected things happen and they introduce more people into her life. And she goes to a works do and she sees a musician playing, and she decides that he's the love of her life and that they're soulmates. And if she can just be with him, she will have a normal life and everything will be perfect. So she starts to prepare herself for meeting the love of her life. And it's kind of sad because you can see that she's a little bit disillusioned, but you almost keep rooting for her. And in the meantime, she's getting closer to another chap that's just started at work. She's, I suppose, slowly introducing different people into her life. And then the second part of the book is quite sad. And obviously that's called Bad Days. And that's when I suppose the reality of her past traumas really catch up with her, and she realises that she has had this fantasy about this man, and she's used this as a bit of an excuse to cover up. It's really a book about loneliness, and she's so lonely, and she's had a very lonely and isolated life. And there was obviously something quite traumatic in her past, and she's just not addressed it. And so in the bad days, you see her almost fall to pieces, and the couple of friends that she has made really come through for her. And it's sad, it's funny. I just fell in love with Eleanor, basically. I wanted her just to do well, and she's very straight talking person. I just love people like that. It's just black and white. Just say it as it is. And she's very like that. Although she does start to learn about the social rules, I suppose, of engaging with one another. Things like hugging and kissing and white lies. And it's just lovely. It's really lovely. So I would really recommend that. I really enjoyed it. And I haven't started another book since, actually. I've got a couple to read, but I haven't had much time, and I've been talking for quite a long time today. I hope this is okay. So I think that's all I will talk to you about today, because I can't honestly recommend any good telly because I haven't been watching any. So if you have any TV recommendations for me, let me know. I did rewatch Peaky Blinders because I love costume dramas. I just love anything like that. And it's funny because when I was younger, my mum always watched costume dramas, and I used to think they were the most boring things in the world. And now I love them. I just love looking at the costumes. There's just something about them. And even obviously Peaky Blinders is quite violent, but I don't mind. I just watch it and I love it. So yes, let me know if there's anything good that I should be watching. And I think that's it. My children will break up today for half term, so I'm going to take a deep breath. And I will be back in 2 weeks, hopefully. I don't know how much I'll get done with the children being home, but we'll see. I'll be back nonetheless, maybe just with a shorter video, I don't know. So I hope you're all well, and thank you for watching, and I will speak to you all soon. Thank you.